facial hair, cystic acne. I always felt tired, agitated. My insulin resistance got super bad, like bad. My weight, I was gaining it on the upper part of my body and not on my lower part, which is super common when you have PCOS. Depression, anxiety, even though anxiety I already have it as it is, and it was just like really bad. My hair was falling off like crazy.
Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Christy Araba, and here we talk all things women's health. And today I want to talk about common signs of PCOS, the common ones as well as ones that are not used to diagnose PCOS. However, a lot of people have experienced it. This first part is what I call like the meat and potatoes of PCOS. So you need to have two of those three things that I'm going to mention. The first is irregular period. This is what it usually looks like. So for patients who have PCOS, they can go sometimes 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a whole year without a period. Sometimes as well, their period just lingers on. That means you're bleeding for like 30 days. 40 days. The next is polycystic ovaries, or those string of pearls that we see on the ultrasound. And those cysts around the ovaries, if they're immature cysts, as in, I call them fake cysts. They're not fake, they're real, but they're fake. Meaning they're just hanging around and they're not doing anything, they're just there. And that's in response to hormones. So your body is just not responding well to hormones. Your hormones are imbalanced, which then leads to all these funky symptoms. Third part is having androgenic effects. So that looks like hormonal acne, having like hair on your chest, here on your back. Those are signs of elevated testosterone. So that's like the meat and potatoes of it. Next part I'm going to talk about is subtle signs of PCOS. This part is not definitively used to diagnose PCOS, but we've seen a good conjunction of it. So the first part is mental health issues. That means depression and anxiety is very high for patients who have PCOS. So when you think about it, right? Depression, meaning you just feel depressed. Why do you feel depressed? Well, you feel depressed because your periods are all the way messed up. You don't feel like you're quote unquote normal to your common friend group, I'd say. So everybody's like, yeah, my period just came and it's this and it's that and blah, blah. And you're like, I can't relate. I haven't seen it in 6 months. You know, the depression part of that. And then you're also depressed too because you feel like you can't go out in public if you have like the hair, right? If you have a lot of hair, you feel like you always have to go get a razor, you have to go get waxing, you have to shave, and it just makes you feel very self-conscious, which then leads to depression because then you just want to stay inside. You don't want to go outside, you don't want to see the world, you just want to be at home where nobody can see you. And then another part of that, also anxiety. So anxiety comes with just that fear, that restlessness, the uneasiness of going out into the world with everything that you have going on. So a lot of people don't really say that they have PCOS. So they'll go through like all the symptoms for a while before they actually go and seek care so they can actually have a word for what they're experiencing. So a lot of times you're having the hair, you're not getting your periods, you're having increased like weight gain, you can't lose weight no matter what you do, you can't lose weight. Then you're just like, what is wrong with me? And so you don't know what the terminology is, you're just going about life, which then adds on to all this mental health symptoms that a lot of patients with PCOS experience. Another symptom as well is binge eating. So binge eating is where, let's say like I talked about the insulin resistance and you're constantly gaining weight and you're trying to lose weight, but nothing is helping. So then you go on these strict diets, which then make you feel miserable. And then you're like, screw it, I'm starving. I'm literally starving to death. I need some food. So you eat a whole bunch and then you feel horrible. You feel just horrible, like you don't feel good. That's another sign as well. Lastly, another symptom is having a form of sexual dysfunction. So this just means that you don't feel aroused, you don't want to have sex, you have decreased libido, you're unhappy, and let's say before you really liked your partner and now you're like, I can't stand this person. That's another sign of PCOS as well. So these signs are all what I would say like the sides of PCOS. The meat and potatoes of PCOS is the polycystic ovaries that you see on the ultrasound, the androgen effects, so that's like the hair you have here, as well as the acne, and then also irregular periods. To wrap up, I just want to say getting a PCOS diagnosis does not mean that it's the end of the world. PCOS is very common, it's very complicated, and it's not a one sector thing. It's your whole body. So I always encourage people to see a lot of different specialists and have someone that kind of follows you through everything. So I recommend, of course, gyne, I recommend endo, I recommend derm, and I also recommend a nutritionist. I think these 4 groups are very essential to help navigate you throughout your PCOS. Not everybody's PCOS is the same. So the same care plan might work for one person, but it might not work for another person. So you really want to find someone who will walk you through everything, and someone you can also consult with, have questions with. So you want to have your home base, then you want to have all the other sectors as well, so you can communicate with them too to kind of get a plan rolling. PCOS can have its flare-ups where, let's say you're doing fine, you're like, wow, my periods are now back to normal. Oh my gosh, my acne has improved. And then all of a sudden it reverts back. So let's say your periods are now they're not showing up and you're getting more acne. Don't beat yourself up. Don't say, oh my gosh, I'm a failure. What happened to me? Oh my goodness. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just know that, hey, this is a setback, but I'm going to overcome this and I'm going to get through this and I'm going to get back on track. Because you don't want to defeat yourself and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe blah, blah, blah. No. Because that's the worst thing you can do. Because then it just makes you more stressful, which then does not help your immune system, which then leads to more complications, which then worsens your PCOS. It just keeps turning and you don't want to deal with that. So keep going, stay strong, find the right people, find support, and you're going to make it through.